Let's see if it actually is. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you have to restart it.
Hmm.
Looks like it's worked.
Come here. I know you like being outside, buddy, but it's hot.
I'm gonna tag everyone. Why not?
It's a special day. There's two commentators.
Exactly. That's worth a double tag.
Come on.
Right. Let me just get YouTube up so that we can see. Cool. Let's
Oh yeah.
do
Look at
our
the
little
comments.
introductions. I think that one watching is me. Oh, nice. We've got Kanata and Waka in. Anyway, okay, that's good enough. Well, let's do our little introductions. I've got a guest with me today, my teammate of 3 seasons, Perry, who is in the championship fight in Tier 2. He's going to be co-commentating with me today.
Hello.
So, this is round 5 of Tier 3. This is season 14 of our GT7 championship, so we're really ticking through the seasons now. I'm just gonna scroll up and get where we were in the standings heading into this race because I am slightly behind. There is. So Claus is our current championship leader, as he has been all season since round 1. He's got 147 points. That's a 38-point lead over the next 2 drivers, who are Cameron and Deco. Cameron got that P2 in. Oh no, he got that victory. Sorry, in Dragon Trail, which really helped him. And then there's Jin and Botifamaro behind as well. AMG have a huge, nearly 100-point lead in the constructors, so that they could wrap that up by the end of Bathurst if they get a few good results here.
Nice.
Yeah, the AMG is doing much better in Tier 3 than it is in Tier 2, so it is still a good car.
No offense, Whack.
And Pyro, especially, dragging the team down.
Mm. How could he?
Oh, Asseldor's in. So, did you watch the stream earlier, Perry? Good Mads.
Tier 2's at Spa?
Yeah, at Spa. So
Yes, I did.
I told Gunmad to scream Lord Asseldor's name if he won the race, and he agreed to it, and he didn't. He just didn't. I was very disappointed in that.
Aw.
I know. So actually, he's got a new name, Lord Asseldor, in the chat today. Lord Sleeping Ass, because that's what it means apparently. So in
Asseldor?
French, yeah, Asseldor
means sleeping
sleeping.
ass?
Eldor means sleeping or something.
I thought this was like a Lord of the Rings reference, like Lord
Yeah,
Isildur.
well, he says it's a Lord of the Rings reference, but I don't
Okay.
believe that's where he got the name from. Anyway, let's
It's not
go.
even PG
Let's go through the grid. Our commentator Goodbad actually qualified last, so that's pretty bad qualifying for him. He's had a bit of a tough time. This is his first season in Tier 3, and he's not doing as good as he could, to be honest. But he is in the Z4.
I do like his. This is my thing, but I really like his livery.
Yeah.
I know the designer that made it. He does amazing work.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's it's good. But unfortunately hasn't been featured on stream much because apart from when he got wiped out by hammers, that was a good one. Anyway, lining up next to him is the Lexus of Monty. Usually qualifies in the top 10, Monty, so a bit surprised to see him down this way. Potentially could come through the field. And then we've got Zimmer in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, so a car that's not one that you see very often. And he struggled a bit in this season in the Mitsubishi, so I'm not sure if that's driver or if it's car. I think he could blame the car a little bit though.
Maybe.
And then we got Jin, who's actually P5 in the standings. So actually he's P4. Let me correct myself. So he's having a very good season, but a pretty bad qualifying for the AMG. I know Wack was saying that AMG wasn't so strong around here.
Yeah, it's lacking a little bit on beans, and it looks like, I mean, just if you look at the mini map, like 40% of the track is straight.
This is true, and that's where as soon as it gets in sixth gear, it stops moving. Basically, stops
Yeah.
accelerating.
Hmm.
Then we got Shergi, and he's in the Nissan GTR 13 because the 18 was banned, and
13.
that's what he went with this season.
Okay.
So he's actually performing pretty well considering. I think that he could be like a tier 3 championship contender if he was in the right car.
It is interesting how far off the 13 is from the 18
Yeah,
pace-wise.
it's
They look almost
no
identical.
good anymore. Ever since they released the 18, PD have just slowly been nerfing this car.
C'est la vie.
Yeah. So P11 is Botifamiro in the other Z4. So he's been on the podium plenty of times this season. So he'll be disappointed to be outside the top 10. And then we got Yuri in the is it the Supra? I want to say it's the Supra. Let me double check. It's not the FT1.
No, that's the GR.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought he'd challenge for the title, but maybe the GR Supra is not so good at the moment under the current BOP. P9 is Claus, so our championship leader. This is easily the worst qualifying he's had this season by quite a few positions. And then Passy, who's been in tier 2 quite a few times in the other GR Supra, so he's outqualified Yuri this time. He hasn't
It's an interesting
got the
flag.
That is the Cornish flag because remember they represented Team Cornwall in the Nations Cup.
Oh yeah.
So he's incorporated that into his livery. Then we got Hurricane. Hurricane is very close to a season ban as it stands. He's 2 penalty points away from that. So he needs to be very careful around this track, especially at turn 1. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not foreshadowing anything at all here. Deco, who's P2 in the championship, lines up 6th in the Lexus. So maybe the Lexus isn't too strong around here with all that 6th gear action as well. Senior Fak in the Audi in P5. Absolutely great qualifying for him. Yeah,
Hell of a name.
It's a great name. It's a great name. So he's really got his head around this Audi better than anyone else in any of the tiers, to be honest. And
Seems
he's
like it, yeah.
regularly not just qualifying well, but he gets top 10 finishes as well, which other Audi drivers have struggled to do due to the tyre wear.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Cameron. He's a P2 in our old car from last season, the Genesis. He's P2 in the championship. He's lining up 4th. Sorry, I should have clarified. Then we got G-Dan in P3. He's in the Porsche, another previous car of ours, next to Higgsy, also in the Porsche. Higgsy was setting some insane lap times, so I'm surprised that he isn't P1. And P1 actually goes to Otto, who is the very first... This is the very first time he's got pole position in Tier 3. He was pretty good in quali last season in the old Supra, and he didn't like the Mazda, but maybe on this track he's found something, because he's lining up way higher than he's qualified for most of the season.
The first 3 are going to be very slow off the line. The Porsches are probably the worst car off the line, I think followed closely by the Mazda, and the Audis right behind them.
Yeah, the Audi starts pretty bad. So this is a great opportunity for Cameron into turn 1 to potentially even lead the race. And Deco in the Lexus starts fairly decent. Hurricane is in... I can't remember what Hurricane's in.
Mazda.
He's in the Mazda as well, so he's going to have a bit of a rocky start. And the Toyota as well has a bad start. So a good opportunity for Claus as well to pick up some places, because he's in the AMG, which we know has pretty good starts.
Yeah.
Right, let's get the race started then. 15 minutes, well actually 7 laps around Spa to kick us off. It's going to be dry conditions.
Otto says he practiced 30 minutes, but starting on pole.
And it's lights out, and it looks like a really slow reaction time from G-Dan there. He's going to lose a position already. Decent enough start from the top 2. Otto's actually fully ahead of Higgsy going into turn 1, so a fairly easy one there. There we see a bit of chaos as one of the Porsches has dropped all the way to the back of the grid, and that is Higgsy. So he was starting P2. Let's ride on board with Higgsy and see what happened to him.
Some kind of Concord. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the word.
He was fully behind Otto and fully ahead of the cars behind him. So he's been the victim of a murder here into turn 1. And there is Senor Fak, who got contact from behind. So let's rewatch from his point of view. He's actually done all right. He's come out in third there. But let's watch the car behind, because there's Hurricane, who we said needs to be really careful into turn 1. Fak does great and overtakes G-Dan. Hurricane looks like he's bumped into G-Dan, bumped into Fak, who bumps into Higgsy, and that is season ban for Hurricane, unfortunately.
Triple caution.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad turn 1. You don't expect to see them in ALR anymore, especially with how tough the penalties are. So Fak's already lost P3 to Hurricane on the run down to Eau Rouge, and now he's under pressure from both Deco and Claus. Claus rising from P9 to P6 as Deco gets a second penalty here. So he's going to go 3 wide into the next corner, but he's going to probably have to back out with that second penalty as well. And Claus wins out.
Otto retains his lead up front too.
Yeah, Otto, a really solid start for him. The pressure will be on though for him to maintain that for another 6.5 laps. A little bit further down, we got Jin recovering from his poor quality into the top 10. He actually gets bumped out of the way from Botifubairo, but he keeps the position, and he's getting another little bump there. He keeps it for now. Then there's Botta in P8. Pasti's down to 9th, and G-Dan after his horrible start from a good qualifying is 10th. Gunmad recovering from the back of the grid to 11th, and Monty is some way at the back.
I'm not even sure what the Z4 is good at. It's so rare to see. I have no clue where it would be strong here.
Well, we've seen Gunmad have fantastic starts to his race. Oh, off track there for Cameron. That's going to create an opportunity for Hurricane to get past him. And is he going to pull alongside? No, he's not. He's going to try and get him on the back straight here.
With how good that Gen X is off the line, I really would have expected him to take P1, but it's a short run down into turn 1.
It looked like Otto had a great reaction time, though, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
And they're going too wide. Hurricane's on the outside here, so he's not got the optimal line. As we head around the corner, they both keep it on track, and Hurricane has the inside line for the hairpin, the bus stop chicane. And Cameron's going to have a little look and backs out of it. And now there's 3 cars all queued up right behind Hurricane. Oh, Cameron goes wide. That's just gifted the position. Fax got past. Looks like Jin's going to get past as well. Claus waiting. So I wonder if Claus made some contact with him. Let's see what happened to Claus. I didn't see contact the first time around. Oh, he pushes Cameron wide. That's why he's waiting. But unfortunately, everyone's going to go past as well.
Be safe. Yeah. I mean, that is the smarter thing to do. Even if it's marginal contact, if you're still on lap 2 where everyone's still congested, it's smarter to do that than to risk 5 seconds.
Especially when you've just done it to the guy who's in P2 in the standings.
Yeah. Even then, it looked like a very minor tap, but still on a chicane like that, probably enough.
Yep. Now Cameron in P6 going to be challenging Pasti up Radion on the run down to the next corner of the Oh, looks like Botifumaro went wide there, lost a position to Deco. Shergi and Gunmad having a battle. Shergi getting a 1.5 second penalty, and Higgsy trying to recover. He's in P13 at the moment, and he's going to get the move done on Shergi.
Man, that thing just looks heavy.
Shergi manages to fend pretty well. Higgsy's actually going backwards now. Yuri coming through. And Gunmad off track down into P15 because of that one mistake. Monty quite away at the back as well. Let's catch up with the front. Otto is just running away with it, and his teammate's in P2 at the moment, but we know he's got a penalty on the way for what happened on lap 1. So really strong track for the Mazdas round here.
Yeah, I mean, these early couple laps are crucial for them to get away as well, because, I mean, who was it? The Evo way at the back, but after coming off the back straight, you might get a great exit, but if there's 3 cars going 3 wide in front of you, you just have to wait.
Exactly. And a great race so far for Fak in the Audi, up into P3.
Yeah, that's really good to see. If he can replicate this pace in the feature, that'll be even better.
They're asking if your mic's on very low volume.
I can move it closer to my face.
Yeah, that's better. He's just very softly spoken, guys. What can I say? Okay, Pasti's caught up to Jin now anyway. Let's see if Pasti's going to have a look into Jin at the bus stop chicane. He's definitely got a bit of a run on him here. Oh, he has to take avoiding action. That was bad. I'm not in a good camera angle here. And he pushes Jin off for good measure.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jin just gets bullied out of 2 positions there, potentially 3. Jidan recovering now. He's up into P7, potentially P6. As he lines up Jin around the outside for the hairpin. He's going to have to brake a lot later, but he can't. Jin brakes incredibly late, somehow makes the corner. I thought he was going straight on there.
That AMG can rotate really well once you get it stopped.
Yeah, clearly. And then up ahead, we've got Pasti and Cameron battling now. So I don't know what's happening with Cameron, but not able to shake Pasti off at this moment.
No, I'd imagine Pasti would probably get by him by the end of this straight just because the Supra may have been nerfed, but I know straight line speed by default it's better than the Gen X. Maybe marginally, as we're seeing here.
And Pasti's just taking advantage of the straight line speed on the Toyota there. Got past Cameron quite easy in the end, around the outside.
Yeah, after driving this, what was it, last season, I'm sure it's probably not a lot of fun outside of the straights here, just because that thing does not really want to turn.
Yeah. So Pasti has got past Cameron, but all that's done is put him at the head of the train. He doesn't look like he's got it in him to pull away from these guys at the moment.
No, not really. And the top 3 are fairly spaced out.
Yeah,
just by judging the minimap.
Unless there's any mistakes, I think the top 3 are safe, and this is the real battle. Let's see what's going on down in 10th. So the battle for the final position in the points, which then becomes pole position, is currently occupied by Higgsy. So we saw him get absolutely punted by Hurricane in turn 1. But he's recovering pretty well. Maybe he'll get another couple of positions before the end. Claus, our championship leader, only in 8th and under a lot of pressure from the current P2 guy, Deco. Deco really needs to finish ahead of Claus pretty much every race for the rest of the season if he's going to have a chance of closing up on him.
It's going to be hard to tell what is going to be the favored car in the last couple races. They're both pretty average on tires, but the last couple tracks are very tire dependent.
Yeah, pretty bad exit there from Deco from the bus stop. It's allowed Higgsy to start to close it up on him a little bit, and it looks like Cameron's... Oh, what's happened with Jin there? He's absolutely clattered the inside of the hairpin, and that's meant that Jidan runs into the back of him. So you said it's got great rotation on that Mercedes, but we have heard Pyro complain about how unpredictable it can be at times, and I think that is a good example of its unpredictability. And now he's under pressure from Jidan on the rundown, and just ahead we can see Cameron lining up.
He's got this.
Pasti as well.
Oh, go for it. Oh, they both behave themselves. Looks like, yep, he gets the job done.
Great overtake there from Jidan. And now Claus is right behind Jin.
I drive the AMG for the esports series, and probably the Aero tuning, but I've never really found it unpredictable.
Well, it could also just be a skill issue for everyone. So
hitting that inside corner on the first turn that's a very common mistake.
Yeah, that's kind of the most tricky corner to take, I think, on the track, because you can gain so much time if you get it right, but because it's cambered and it's just weird as a corner, to be honest, it's quite difficult to get spot on. It's just been pointed out in the chat that Claus is on mediums.
Oh.
So that is why he's only in P8 right now.
That had to have been an accident. There's no way.
Yeah, he's in the chat. He said it was. He said it was an accident. So yeah, what can you do? Jin's just got himself a half-second penalty. Everyone else should be on softs. Deco's on softs and all over the back of him.
This is a really awkward place to be right behind somebody. You don't want to go for it around the outside because you will end up off the track.
Yeah, look how close he is as well. He's going to get the dirty air around this little kink to the left here, which means you've got to lift a little bit more than you like to, and then just hope that the car in front doesn't brake too early for the chicane. But everyone's taking it quite beautifully there, to be honest. Everyone's nose to tail. Jin might have a little run on Cameron here all of a sudden. Cameron's got no pace around here. He's falling backwards at the moment. Ooh, nearly some contact there with the Mercedes boys.
Oh man, Deco is already under threat again from the Porsche. Seems like they're all stacking up a little bit.
Deco and, yeah, Higgsy and Yuri have caught up, yeah. Okay, here we go. Claus has a chance at Jin. Are they going to do some team orders here?
If they're smart. Yep. That's what you need to do.
I'd be letting you have the inside line, to be honest, if I was letting you past. But yeah, they're still going side by side as well. I don't think they're playing team orders, to be honest.
That might have looked a little bit like they tried to do some kind of bumping and just trying to get some speed down the straight, but just couldn't.
If that was team orders,
who should go where.
It failed miserably.
Yeah.
And now Jin is coming under a little bit of pressure from Higgsy. Is Jin going to try and hold up the cars behind before the penalty line? Because he's going to lose positions anyway. It seems like he's letting Claus get away a little bit here.
Well, the AMGs are in the lead for the constructors by 100 points at this point, so he could afford to lose some places.
That is very true. They're not fighting for anything in the constructors unless an absolute disaster happens.
Oh, Higgsy got by Deco. How'd that happen?
Yeah, I think it was on the run down in Sector 1. And now
Probably.
They're both going to overtake Jin in just a few seconds here. And there is maybe a 1.5 second gap to the cars ahead as well, so Higgsy and Deco have that much hard... Oh, Deco might not even get Jin.
Yeah, I was just thinking that around Spa, a half second is not always a guarantee if you're 2 cars back.
He just didn't have enough acceleration, and Deco could go around the outside. Had to be a bit forceful with it, but managed it. I think Jin gave him a little love tap on his way by.
Yeah. I mean, he kept one tire on the white line, which prevents him from getting a penalty, but I mean, we've been having a discussion about track limits a lot lately, it seems like.
Oh, Jin nearly hits the wall again. That is not the car.
No, that was a little eagerness.
Now Claus, maybe his tires shouldn't be coming into him. This is just on pace. Claus is catching up to Cameron now, and he's got a good slipstream coming out of Radeon. He might be able to challenge for the position now.
This would be a late dive if he goes for it. Oh, he pulls out a little early.
No, he backs out of it. Yeah, he just didn't get close enough because that Genesis is pretty good in 6th gear compared to the AMG. It's not a bad top speed car. It's not one of the best, but it's serviceable. See what's happening a bit further up. G-Dan is currently queued up behind Pasty. Fak has actually caught up to Hurricane. That's a turn up for the Bucks. The Audi is very strong today.
How are his tires compared to Fak's?
The rears are a little bit worse. The fronts are better than Hurricane's. Hurricane's on pad. I think Fak is on wheel. I think he's got the same wheel as me, actually. So he should be winning the race.
That would be one of those cars.
Yeah, he does.
Similar to the Huracan, that if they level out the front and the rears, that thing would be a menace.
If the tyre wear wasn't an issue, this would be one of the meta cars. It
Absolutely.
is over 1 lap. I mean, it got pole position in Tier 2 around Dragon Trail, so it's very good at tracks with corners. I'm expecting it to be really good around Brands Hatch in the sprint. Maybe not in the feature because of the tyres. But yeah, if they could just sort out the tyre wear, it would be on a lot of people's lists every season. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the physics update that's coming this week.
I'm so excited.
I am too. I like a good physics update. G-Dan really close to Pasty now. This is the final lap as well, so G-Dan doesn't have much of an opportunity to get around Pasty. The opportunity might come after Radeon.
And I don't think Deco's going to get close enough to really threaten Claus.
No, I don't. Claus's tyres have come in quite well, and he's adjusted to being on the mediums accidentally this race to minimise the damage to his championship. Especially because Cameron's only 1 place ahead and Deco's actually behind him. So he's not losing any ground, really. Here we go. G-Dan ran the outside.
no, I think the Supra just has more beans.
The Supra absolutely has more beans. And that is why he's clung onto that position, but he's a little bit shaky, and G-Dan's kind of going to try the switch back.
Oh, he might get him down the inside here.
He's got the advantage. It just depends if he's got the bravery to do it.
The Porsche is better on brakes than the Supra, so
that is an absolutely great overtake from
nice.
G-Dan. Pasti couldn't hang it around the outside. A little bit further back, we've got something's happened to Deco. He's down in 14th.
Oh no! Had to have been. Oh, at the end of the lap.
Oh, he just loses it.
I bet he went wide, right on the
exit. He'll have touched the grass very slightly. And that may be his championship challenge all but over.
Oh, I don't know. Also,
he's not gonna have a good position in the feature now.
No, not at all.
Right, let's go back up to the final lap where we were.
I even think he could have come back on track immediately after that and not really been impeding the Evo.
So, Otto is multiple seconds, maybe like 8 seconds up the road at this point. Hurricane definitely doesn't have the same pace as Otto, which is, for the first time this season, Otto's probably had better pace than Hurricane. Fak has kept up with them incredibly well, and he's just not been able to do that last little bit of work to reel in Hurricane and actually challenge him for P2 there. But Fak does end up inheriting P2 anyway, because Hurricane's going to get a big fat penalty for that lap 1 incident. Let's join Otto, because there's only a couple of corners left between him and his first ever victory in Tier 3. He rounds the final corner now.
Quite a sizable one too.
Yeah, in the Mazda, very first victory in Tier 3. Well done, Otto. Hurricane rounding the final corner makes it a 1-2 on track, at least for the Mazda boys. So a really strong result for them. Really great pace. Senor Fak third in the Audi. An incredible result in my opinion. We've got G-Dan in P4, Pasti P5, a huge gaggle of cars. Cameron P6. Higgsy beats Claus off the line. I think we need to see what's happened here. So Claus is just taking way too much curb, and he can't get the traction on the medium tyres, and Higgsy beats him in a drag race down to the checkered flag. Jin only P9 in the end, and Yuri 10th, also pole position for Yuri. Shergi in his old GTR only 13th. Gunmad falls back to 12th. Sorry, Shergi was 11th. Zimmer 13th. Deco after his mistake 14th. Ahead of Botta, who had his worst race in Tier 3. And Monty, unfortunate for him, last.
Man, that's just really goes to show that Claus was going to pay for that mistake with the medium tires, because I think on softs he would have had that no problem.
Absolutely.
And that was what, like a 7 second win for Otto on a sprint with the Mazda's starts. That's pretty impressive.
Right, I need to go back a long way to find. There it is. Yeah, so really plain sailing. Otto, that was just 7 laps for Otto doing a time trial run, essentially. Yeah, he got off the line perfectly. His teammate eliminated the threats into turn 1, and he just drove off.
Perhaps a little lucky that happened.
Yeah, but you can only work with what you're given. And he gave himself that opportunity by qualifying on pole position.
Absolutely.
Also saying that was the 4th fastest sprint time across all tiers. So he's campaigning for a promotion.
Welcome to Tier 2.
Yeah. I mean, he's an A+ driver.
He is.
Right, let's have a look at these tyres. Mediums for Yuri, softs for Jin, so he's going to try and hit the front straight away. Softs for Claus, mediums for Higgsy, Cameron, Pasti. I mean, I'm surprised anyone's starting on the softs, to be honest with you.
Outside of P1, yeah.
Yeah, so P2 and P3 are the only guys starting on the softs. They want to be 1-2 fairly quickly, and we'll have to see how much of a challenge it is to get past Yuri, actually.
And here, the two-stop is not really an option with how long the pit lane is, so they better be hoping that they're going to really get away in the first stint.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's get going. We have 18 laps to get through here. Yuri on pole position. The top 7 start on the straight, so it's going to be a bit difficult for people P8 down, having to negotiate that final turn. But let's see how Yuri does in this first sector. You can see the cars coming around the final turn as Yuri approaches turn 1 already. Really great advantage started at the front on a rolling start here. And you can see Jin closing the gap massively already, as does Claus. Let's ride on board with Claus as we tackle Eau Rouge and Radion. Let's see how brave Yuri can be into these on medium tyres, having just done 7 laps on the softs. Oh, he takes it a little bit better than Jin. That's going to allow Claus, who goes very wide. He might actually get himself a penalty here. I was going to say Claus should absolutely have got past, well, no, he didn't. Should have got past Jin there quite easily, but they both made a mistake. So this soft strategy already not really working out as they would have hoped, because Yuri's gapping them and they're making mistakes.
Yeah, unlike the sprint start, since the features a rolling start, the game starts the drivers with already warmed tires, so the mediums might be at less of a disadvantage than in the sprints.
Definitely, and unlike coming out of the pits, the tires are warm. So it doesn't take long at all for you to be up to speed, up to temperature, and able to attack at the start of a race.
And this is the worst lap that you would want to get a penalty that hefty if you're running this strategy.
Oh yeah, this is easily 3 positions he's losing, I'm going to say. With a 1 second.
I might say a little more.
He's already...
But if they're all on mediums.
It's such a shame because he's so close behind Jin. Jin might have let him past already if he didn't have that penalty. Oh, Yuri's off.
Oh, did he lift though?
He won't get a penalty for that, I don't think, but he's going to have dirty tyres. He's going to get that P2 back at least. But this is great news for Jin. Jin's in P1 and he has medium tired cars behind him. There's the penalty for Claus. So Claus out behind 2 already. It's going to be 3 because Cameron's going to get past him. Might not be enough for Pasty because this corner here is going to save him because he's not really going to have to lift to take it. Oh, he's still slow around the corner though. Is Pasty going to be brave and do a little dive bomb? He is.
Ooh,
and something's happened to Yuri, and Pasty's really not taking that corner well. He braked a little bit too late, but he manages to avoid contact, but he is still letting Claus past anyway. I'm a bit surprised at that, actually. Let's go back and see what happened to Yuri.
Bold but clean move.
Yeah.
At least on the first watch.
Here is Yuri.
What happened? I think he breaks too...
On the grass.
Oh. Yep.
And he's got front left damage, so that's going to be pretty brutal for him. Is he going to be able to rejoin all right? Actually rejoins very safely, so credit to him for that. That was a great rejoin. You very rarely see in ALR cars rejoin safely. I'm saying this as a steward who has to look through multiple unsafe rejoins. Claus hits the inside wall that we saw Jin hit a few times, and now he's going to come under a little bit of pressure there from G-Dan, who managed to get past Pasty, who slowed to let Claus past after his little, their little encounter.
Man, this is not where you want to be if you're starting on the soft tires.
Yeah, this isn't good news for Claus and his quest for another race win here. This might actually be the first track he'd be on course for not getting a race win. And he's going to get overtaken by 2 cars from either side down the straight. And he's going to bump G-Dan. That's not great. Pasty's going to finish the job on G-Dan. Claus loses another position. And G-Dan keeps the position. He shouldn't get a penalty because he was bumped off. So he shouldn't get a corner cutting penalty. And Claus is going to try and get Fak straight away. Senor Fak.
At this point, with how the bop sits, I think the Porsche has even better straight line speed than the AMG, so...
Yeah, the Porsche got a straight top speed buff, a little one, but not... so it's still not great, but yeah. Pasty going backwards here. He's under pressure from Fak now as well. Fak's going to get that position. If Pasty holds it around the outside, this is going to be very impressive. Too much contact there.
Yeah, that was too much.
And now we've got Hurricane. What's he going to do? He's going to go. He's going for it. Good overtake there from Hurricane. Yeah.
Ooh, and Pasty gets the penalty from that. That's unfair.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Pasty. And now he's under pressure. He's just falling backwards at least one spot every single corner. Ration's past him now. Shurgi's into the top 10. You love to see it. He's going to be up to P9 with this half-second penalty for Pasty. God, Pasty's even going to be behind Yuri, who we saw have that moment.
Oh, man. And Deco is... Have you seen him yet? Nope, down in 14.
What's he doing down here? He's had some sort of mistake. We won't go back. These guys have all had incidents that we've missed.
Probably.
A little bit further up we are. Too wide. Yuri getting the job done. No, he's not. Yes, he is. He has got the job done on Shurgi. Good overtake there from Yuri on his little recovery drive. Got Hurricane under pressure from Fak as well. Hurricane going defensive into turn 1. The last source hairpin. Oh, good exit there from Fak.
That was good. Is he going to be left enough space?
Oh, please, don't go. These two aren't going to end up going too wide.
Do it.
It's going to end in tears. Yep, oh, there's the contact. Hurricane off track. And Otto having to take huge avoiding action. He might actually get a penalty for that, which would be super harsh. Yeah, there, half a second because he lifted.
Well, the half a second doesn't seem to be
it's
as
not
bad as other tracks.
You can if you get like a second ahead of the car in front, you can just about hold on to that position.
It's just placed very well for the smaller penalties for you to get away with, because I mean, right after the penalty line, there's like 2 high-speed corners.
Yeah. Fak's gonna think about it. Backs out at the last second. So yeah, Otto's gonna lose at least one position here. Gunmad, actually, everyone's super close back here.
Jaggle.
It is chaos in the second sector. Botifumero just gets past Pasty. Pasty's down to 13th. We've seen every overtake that someone's done on Pasty, and he's not won a single one of them. I see what's happening a little bit further up.
I have faith in Pasty. It's still really early in the race.
G-Dan's probably going to lose a position as well to Hurricane. That's unfortunate for him. Cameron having... Oh, everyone's got penalties. What's going on here?
They don't even have any rain. We had rain.
I know. So let's just talk about Higgsy for a second. Higgsy is the highest placed medium running car. He is... well, he qualified P2, and he's in P2 right now. So I think this is the favourite to win this race.
Yeah, I think that Jin's strategy, it just might not really work that well here. I mean, in ALR, anywhere, usually if you only can make one stop, what seems to be the best is the medium soft.
Yeah.
But soft to medium, we'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, if he manages... Well, he basically has to build as big a gap as possible. Did we miss some action there? Senor Fak ahead of Otto, by the way. He managed to overtake him while we were talking. Yuri's fallen down to 12th, so I don't know what's happened to him.
Oh man, that's a shame. I was expecting this to be a pretty good track for the Supra.
Yeah. So everyone from Hurricane down are incredibly close together. Then there are quite big gaps. There's maybe like a 4-second gap up to Claus and a similar gap up to Cameron. And then we got Higgsy fairly close to Jin. Jin's tyres are pretty worn, I've got to say.
Like 4 laps in, too.
We're 4 laps in and he's over 50% on the front left. He's going to have to pit on like lap 7 potentially.
I mean, would they try a 2-stop? Just soft?
Some guys in Tier 1 tried the 2-stop and they finished last and second last. So I don't think it's the optimal strategy. But yeah, the problem for Jin is he's in the AMG, which doesn't have great tyre wear. It's got great pace, not great tyre wear. And he's also on pad, so that just makes it even worse. Same for Claus, actually. Claus is also on pad.
Really?
And look at his tyres, very similar. So it's not looking too great. I mean, look how much, like, Higgsy's tyres are pretty much, like, what, 75% left on his worst tyre?
And with full fuel, those softs are going to wear faster, too.
Absolutely. That's why you want to put the softs on second. That's why it's the optimal strategy doing medium softs instead of soft mediums. Because you kind of lose a lap of freshness as the stint wears on if you start on the softs.
And the tire wear just seems to have compounding effects as well. The more worn your tires are, the more you slide, the more your tires wear.
Yeah.
The more worn your tires are, the more you slide, and it snowballs.
So let's see what's happening with our queue of cars here. So Hurricane still ahead of G-Dan. It looks like Fak and Autoration having a little battle as well. Auto does have the pace on Fak, so he'll be a bit annoyed with himself that he allowed him to get past, and is seemingly holding him up a little bit now. Auto's got a run on him here though.
Have you seen any fuel saving going on yet?
I haven't been paying attention to the fuel saving actually.
It's not that these cars can't, do a one-stop on fuel around here. It's just that, having more fuel into the first pit stop, if your car can short shift or something like that and still retain pace but save fuel, that's only going to be a benefit.
That's what I'd be doing if I was Auto right now. You can fuel save a lot in the Mazda. He's not.
Yep.
Oh, he gives Fak a little bump. And ahead we've got G-Dan and Cameron. G-Dan and Hurricane, sorry. G-Dan trying a move around the outside here. And yeah.
Ooh. Neither particularly looked.
This was reported to the stewards, and Hurricane reported it, but ended up getting the penalty. I'll tell you why. So right here, G-Dan is entitled to the space because he is sufficiently alongside Hurricane. And right here, Hurricane doesn't give him the space. And then this is what happens. Hurricane loses control of his car. They both end up in the wall. And Hurricane loses a few positions there. He's got a bit of damage. So that was just adding insult to injury on his season ban, because he got even more of a penalty than was necessary. Now he's just ahead of Shergi. He's going to try and defend here, but he's got a damaged tyre and a damaged front bumper. So Shergi should get the position.
Looks like he just will.
Yeah. And now Gunmad's going to try and do the same. Shergi goes off and loses the position straight away.
I sensed it.
Sometimes you get too excited when you make an overtake that you mess up the next corner. I think that's what happened.
I was about to comment on some of the cars because, like we said, the fuel saving on the Mazda, if you shift it around the gear suggestion, that little slightly darker box, you won't really lose much pace, but you'll save a lot of fuel. I was going to say something similar to the next car you went to. Barely saved it, but I know nothing about the Z4 again.
The Z4, I didn't know anything until I started commentating. Good straight line speed. Good off the line. Seems to have pretty decent acceleration. I don't think it's got the best tires or fuel though, which maybe is why when they were testing it they thought it was a good car, because the one lap pace seems to be there. Higgsy's just overtaken Jin for the lead because Jin has come into the pits. I thought we missed it, but that was an overtake for the lead. Looks like Higgsy has been fuel saving as well, because look, he's still got over 50% of his fuel left after 6 laps.
And that's pretty good. The Porsche's not the easiest to fuel save with.
No. You see Cameron's got less than 50, so he'll have to put more fuel in. Claus has less than 50 as well. On his soft tyres, remember Claus started on the softs, and he's still only in P3. And they're going off now, so Cameron shouldn't have too much of trouble keeping him behind as long as he doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Auto. Somehow he's caught up to G-Dan.
Seems to be Auto's race. He's doing well today.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Already back up into 4th after starting 10th. Does he get the job done before the turn? Yes, he does.
It's not over yet. There is always the opportunity for the other car to come back, and G-Dan holds onto it, steals the inside line for the next corner. Auto trying the cut back, but G-Dan goes defensive already for the next corner. Fak lurking in the background as well, and some really good driving between these two. G-Dan keeps the position.
That Porsche is just so good on rotation off throttle that half the time you don't need to touch the brakes to get any trail braking. If you just lift off, it'll rotate.
Yeah, definitely. So Auto doesn't win that round, unfortunately for him. A little bit further back, Hurricane is still ahead of Gunmad, Shergi, Yuri under a little bit of pressure from Deco still. So Deco really needs to start making some progress. This has not been his round. Easily his worst performance of the season so far.
This is not going to be good for the championship either.
Not when, well, let's have a look at what happened here, because I think our commentators cursed Cameron.
Uh-oh.
Oh, a little bit rude there from Claus. I think we need to rewind that again.
Claus hadn't pit yet, had he? It was Jin.
No, Claus is on dead softs right now.
Okay. then he might have just been expecting more grip onto braking that he just didn't get.
He goes for it.
He brakes very late.
That is just about okay. That's just about okay. Cameron played ball there. I think if Cameron had turned into him and ended up flying off track, that would wouldn't have been okay. Oh, Claus lets him through. Okay. Claus thought it was more unacceptable than me. It looks of it.
It's a very good place to let him through, though.
Absolutely. He's not going to lose much time now.
No, I mean, he's already on dead softs. He's already bleeding time.
Let's see if Claus comes into the pits now.
He has to. Those tires aren't lasting another lap.
No, he'd be struggling. So, I'd call that stint mediocre for Claus. Let's see where... Oh, what was going on there? Otto has finally got past G-Dan. Or has he? Because that is a great slingshot out of the chicane for G-Dan, and he's just going to retake that position once again. Costing each other a lot of time battling, but it's pretty good to see.
We're seeing the Porsche come alive in the feature, too.
Was that a little love tap around turn 1 that Otto gave G-Dan? It kind of looked like it.
It looked like he held back just a little bit.
Yeah. So he's going to try and... Well, he's got a great run on G-Dan. Remember what we were saying about the Porsche? It doesn't have as good top speed as the Mazda. Otto really should get this overtake done right now. He's going to have to do it around the outside. G-Dan's not making it easy for him once again. Remember, this is where G-Dan had an incident with Hurricane a couple of laps ago, but Otto manages to get the position pretty solidly there.
Yeah, it looks like he's at least going to retain it for the next couple meters. G-Dan might be a little bold and do something, around the outside maybe?
Let's have a look at Jin. Jin's gone back on softs again, so he's he's 2 stopping.
Yep.
He's down in P11 and he's got a half-second penalty, and he's stuck behind Zimmer. Claus has clear air. He's also on softs. He's going to be 2 stopping. So this is a strategy that I'm already going to tell you right now is not going to work for the AMG boys. They weren't 1 and 2. They didn't build up a lead on the medium runners, and now Jin is paying the price. He's got past Zimmer, but he's going to get a penalty and drop behind Zimmer again. Zimmer's not going to come into the pits for another few laps as well. So they're just going to lose the best opportunity to get an undercut on the freshness. Although look how far Jin has already stretched his lead on Zimmer just in those couple of corners.
I mean, let's see, how long does a pit take out of your time? It looks like an extra 20 seconds on the in lap, an extra 10 seconds on the out, so about 30 total.
Yeah, with fuel, yeah.
Fuel. That was no fuel. Well, assuming no fuel. Call it very little fuel, but 30 seconds.
Let's see if Jin actually keeps that position. He only lost half a second, so he didn't brake too much on the penalty. Oh, Claus picked up half a second as well. Oh, Mercedes boys. I feel like I'm watching a Tier 2 race. What's going on? This is not... Maybe it's you, Perry, but this is not how these guys have been driving all season. They've been much better, much more consistent than what we're seeing.
Am I like the substitute teacher and they're misbehaving?
You're the bad omen. That's what you are. But anyway, Jin still kept ahead of Zimmer quite comfortably. Set a 2-minute 20, so multiple seconds slower than what he is capable of. Claus, a 2:28 on his outlap. Shergy in the pits. I don't think he's going to be doing 11 laps on the soft somehow.
No way. He might have to.
But look how worn his mediums are. This is the problem with the 2013 Nissan. It shreds its tires like nothing.
It doesn't really seem like it's a worthy payoff either. The pace isn't.
There's nothing. It's just a crap car. It's the worst car that anyone is driving, even worse than the Audi in ALR this season.
I don't think you need full fuel just for 10 laps.
No, maybe he's gonna try and go all the way to the end on these. He's on hards. He has put on the hard tires. Oh my god! I thought we were past racing on hard tires. I thought everyone knew that it is not a feasible strategy at ALR. Well, let's see how it works out for him.
Might be good next week.
In Bathurst. Oh, you mean after the update?
Yeah, after the update. But he didn't even need to go full fuel on that. He only had, 11 laps left and had done 8 laps on like 60% fuel. So
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I've made the same mistake. I've made a couple mistakes in a race, gotten far back, said, "To hell with this! I'm putting on hards, fully fueling. Maybe I'll win that way." And of course, it didn't work, but
No.
everyone tries it.
Not everyone tries it.
Some people try it.
Anyway, Higgsy is rounding the corner, still on his medium tyres. Let's see what kind of lap time he's setting. A 20 flat, so that's quicker than the lap that we just saw Jin do, and he's on 1 medium, so he's still doing pretty solidly right now, Higgsy. He might have to overtake Jin on track when he pits, but that should be fairly easy. Jin's also going to have to pit stop again. So Cameron as well, doing a very solid job in that Genesis. We didn't have the best time in the Genesis, did we?
No, but I don't think the calendar suited it.
Agreed.
I don't know if this one really would have either.
Agreed. It's okay. I mean, there's 3 high-speed tracks on this calendar, but the Genesis is the best at acceleration, to be honest.
It might be good at Brands Hatch, but the tires are definitely going to hurt.
Yeah, the tires are also an issue. And it's fuel. Oh, he just saved it, actually, quite impressively, to be fair to him.
That was good.
Now we got Otto still ahead of G-Dan, so we got the move done a few laps ago, but he's not got away from G-Dan. These guys are fairly evenly matched so far in this round. They've gapped Hurricane. Remember, Hurricane had that incident with G-Dan, so actually Hurricane's trying to catch up at the moment. I think Gunmad having a fairly decent feature so far. Look at the tyre difference though. His front have maybe 20% left, whereas the other cars maybe have 10% more than him, so that is a big weakness in the Z4. Gunmad, I'm pretty sure, is on pad. Maybe he's not. If he's not, you can correct me in the chat. If he's on wheel and that's how bad the tyres are, then I am never touching it.
Yeah, I'm curious to know that. If he's not on wheel and he's on pad, then it might be a little fun one-off to, doing a non-serious race, just because, I mean, how many times do you see that car?
Skinsy, when he first joined ALR, won a race or 2 in it, actually. But apart from that, that is the only thing I can think of. And he was in the bottom tier, so it wasn't too difficult to win a race. Jin having a challenge on Yuri. Remember, Jin is on the soft tyres, kind of fresh still. Yuri's on the mediums, which are very worn. So Jin...
That fast corner is exactly what I was talking about with the penalty line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why he gets to keep it through this chicane. It's just an awkward corner to try and overtake somebody.
Oh, Jin gets the exit all wrong. He could have got a really good slingshot on Yuri down the pit straight, but he's made a big mistake there. Claw's right behind him now, so he had maybe a 4 and a bit second lead on Claws going into the pits, and he's just letting Claws through.
That's the smart thing to do.
Absolutely. So every position that Claws and Jin make at the moment is for position in the race, because they both have 1 pit stop left to do.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands, not
really
factoring
bad
in the sprint yet, Claus is 37 ahead of P2, that being Deco. Ooh.
That's bad.
16.7 though, that's a fast lap.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, my dog is annoying me right now.
Don't you talk bad about Megan.
But yeah, these two are just tripping each other up now. Oh, Yuri off track as well. It might be tripping them up even a little bit more in this next corner. Yeah, so Claus made a penalty through over Radion. Jin overtakes him after getting out of the way for Claus and losing himself a bit of time. Now Claus is losing time behind Jin, and they're both losing time behind Yuri. Claus is going to try and get past Jin again. So Jin's going to have to lift again to let Claus pass, but I don't think he's going to want to, because Claus is going to have this 1 second penalty, so he's going to brake mid-corner instead and hold up Claus a little bit more.
This just doesn't really seem like there's a good way out of this for them, just because of that error on the tires, and now they're falling all over each other.
They really are. It's not gone as well as they've coordinated in previous races. There's been quite a few sprint races this season where they've both qualified P1 and 2, and yeah, they've worked together a lot better than they've managed here. Higgsy in the pits. So let's stick with Claus and see if he's actually managed to get an undercut on Higgsy. Higgsy's going to have to put in 10% less fuel than Cameron. Oh, Claus loses that position to Yuri again. He'll be so frustrated right now in his helmet, I suppose.
We'll call it helmet.
Maybe he does wear a helmet. Yuri in the
Really
pits,
wide.
so that's one thing for Claus. Actually, everybody in the pits on lap 10 here. So
I thought about wearing a helmet while racing. It seems fun.
I'll say nothing to that. So Jin looks like he's taken the lead of the race, and Claus is in P2. So this undercut has worked for them, but they're going to have to make another pit stop. And with Higgsy coming out of the pits right now, and at the point where they're just at Eau Rouge and Radion, this is looking incredibly good for Higgsy. Higgsy's put on the mediums, by the way. Pasty's still... Oh, Pasty hasn't pit yet. Oh, has he?
How
Maybe
much fuel
Pasty's
does
doing
he
a
have
two-stop.
left?
Who? Higgsy?
Yeah,
He's 80%, so that's enough for the end of the race.
that's just at the end. Yeah, with the higher tire wear, I might have considered the mediums as well, just because there's no guarantee that the rears for softs are going to last that long.
But Cameron has put on the softs. So if Cameron can really take advantage and not get held up behind Pasty as well, to be fair, he should be able to challenge for this win.
I would agree.
But he's in the Genesis, which doesn't have great tyre wear. I think he's on wheel. I'm pretty sure Cameron's on wheel. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing as well this season.
Some mind games there. Just a little fake down the inside made him go deep.
Yeah, quite an easy overtake, actually, in the end. It's like Pasty kind of psyched himself out with that one.
A lot of times you can get away with stuff like that just by scaring someone into a corner or forcing an
Cameron's on wheel.
unforced error, if that makes sense.
So yeah, this is a great opportunity. Unfortunately for Cameron, he did lose more time in the pits to Higgsy, having to put in more fuel. He's actually got less fuel than Higgsy now, so Higgsy might be trying to push a little bit more on the revs to get that last kilometre per hour advantage on the straights.
We both know with the Porsche, you really have to go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you don't, it saves a huge amount of fuel.
Yeah, but a lot of lap time too.
A lot of lap
If
time.
I recall, the short shifting doesn't really help. Well, I mean, it helps on fuel, but the pace is pretty bad.
If you're in a slow track, short shifting's easier. Because it only really punishes you in 5th to 6th. Jin's already in the pits, by the way. So Claus is
like
probably
these.
coming in at the end of this lap. Pasty as well in the pits. So the net race lead is for the podium is Higgsy, Cameron, and then Otto.
He's made a good drive through the field.
He is. He's on very fresh softs. He was one of those drivers to come in on the previous lap. And he's not too far away from Cameron right now. Again, he's on the softs, unlike Higgsy. G-Dan's on the medium, so the two Porsches doing the exact same strategy as each other. Hurricane and G-Dan, we're about to have round 2 or 3 or maybe 4. I don't know how many times these guys have had a little run-in on this race, but G-Dan's got a good run on... Hurricane's got a good run on G-Dan on his soft tyres now.
I don't think he might go for
Could
it.
go for it. Hurricane
I think he's
always
going
goes
to.
for it. Unfortunately, G-Dan was braking perfectly there, and Hurricane couldn't get
gap.
alongside.
Car.
There was gap, but there was no sending.
I think with their sprint pace, Otto might actually stand a pretty good chance of catching Seacoach.
Yeah, he could. He's definitely closed the gap through the pit sequence because the Mazda, again, has a better tank than the Genesis.
This is going to be fun to watch because the different tire wear completely changes the rules. Changes
Absolutely.
the game.
Yeah, Hurricane needs to get past G-Dan and build a gap because he's got a penalty coming his way from killing G-Dan a few laps ago.
That AstroTurf on that exit is so dangerous. You really can't go wide there. That's how we see Deco
No.
getting off there.
My policy is never touch the green stuff because you
There
just,
again.
yeah, very likely to spin. That was a great run from Hurricane. Claws in the pits now. You can see Jin pit, he's not in the top 8 currently, so he's got loads of work to do. Great overtake from Hurricane, fairly easy in the end. G-Dan doesn't put up much of a fight at all. And Hurricane's up into net P4 once Claws comes out of the pits. Down in P11, you'll see Jin, who's made his second stop. So he's going to have fresher tyres than everyone for the rest of the race. But he's got a lot of on-track overtaking to do if he wants to get a good result here.
Yeah, he's a good ways off of where I would have expected them after the sprint.
Yeah. Especially when you consider these have been the fastest guys of the season. They're both outside the top 9. I think Jin should come out ahead of Claws. No, apparently not. Claws must have had a better in-lap and a better pit sequence than Jin because he's actually just ahead of Zimmer and Yuri, and then Jin's behind them. So, a bit better there from Claws. And now he should be able to drive away from Zimmer fairly easily. Zimmer in the top 10, by the way. That's a pretty good result for him if he manages to stay in the top 10. He doesn't get too many top 10s. He benefited a lot from the rain to get his best result of the season in Dragon Trail in the previous round. And he's just lost a position fairly easily there to Yuri.
I mean, down that straight, I don't think many cars, aside from a handful, would really try to contest the Supra with a slip.
No. I heard some screeching. Yeah, I'm trying to find where that screeching was. Everyone seems to be alright.
Maybe someone got a little bit bored.
Yeah, let's have a look at the fastest laps. Higgsy's last lap was an 18.7. 17.9 for Cameron, so that is 0.8 quicker than Higgsy. If he can keep this up, he will catch Higgsy before the end of the race. 17.8 for Orso, so he's flying as well. Hurricane 18.5. 18.7 for G-Dan, so fairly similar those two. 18.9 for Deco, so the slowest so far. 18.6 for Gunmad. Claus is on his outlap. Yuri an 18.5. 19.2 for Zimmer. And yeah, Jin still hasn't set his first representative time on those soft, but he set a 19.6 before coming in, so not very quick. 22 for Shergi.
I'm
and
wondering
221s before that.
On the Gen X's, he probably will catch the Porsche, but I'm wondering if those tires are going to degrade over the course of the rest of the race.
Well, just have a look at Higgsy's front left. He's got, although he's on mediums, it's only maybe 10% max worn. Cameron's probably on 20% worn on his softs, and he's got
5 more laps.
Yeah, 5 more laps to go. So it'll be tight. I think he can do it. He has to be careful. It all depends on how extreme your steering inputs are, though.
Yeah.
And he seems to be fairly gentle on them through Eau Rouge and Radeon. And if he can be gentle and not avoid going full lock, basically, through the infield section too much, then he's going to protect the tyres a lot more.
Yeah, this would have been a track I would have actually not minded being in the Gen X.
Yeah, the one track where the one season where we don't race at Spa, and it's the season where we could have had a really strong car in it, but never mind. Instead, the Beetle was horrendous around here.
Yeah, but that's a race for another day.
Yes, go and watch that race. It's already on ALR if you want to see it. Hurricane really holding up G-Dan at the moment. So G-Dan on the mediums, Hurricane on the soft, so there's absolutely no reason Hurricane should be slow right now. One thing I do remember though from the Porsche, from our season in it, is on medium tyres, it is better than other cars on medium tyres.
Yeah, I think it's because of that lift-off oversteer that it gets a little bit. That if you can tame it and control it, whether you've got like traction control 1 on or whatever kind of steering assist, it kind of nullifies the mediums being a little less grippy.
Yeah.
At least on the turn-in. So the Porsche's a good car on mediums.
Ahmed's just asked, is the pad dominating all tiers? No. The answer is no. In tier 2, 4 of the top 5 are wheel users. Actually, 5 of the top 6 are wheel users. In tier 4, the top 2 are wheel users. I think the top 3 actually are wheel users. In Tier 5, I think the top 2 are also wheel users. So it's only Claus and Viking who are exceptions to the rule. Well, this season anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Pad seems to be, historically, in ALR, faster over 1 lap, but noticeably worse on their tires.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the AMG is not really a car you can hide that in.
Claus has caught up to Gunmad now. Let's see. Both of them are on soft tires. Gunmad's a lot more worn because he's not doing 2-stop like Claus is. So Claus will really need to get past Gunmad really quickly because time's running out for him to get a good result here. Looks like he got a good slingshot through Radion, and Gunmad is... I mean, that Z4's meant to have good straight line speed, isn't it? But he's going to struggle here. He places his car... Ooh, he nearly doesn't give Claus enough space there, but he gets away with it and keeps the position. Ooh, Claus nearly loses it.
You don't want to be doing that if you're trying to nurse your tires. But with only 4 laps left, I think he should be fine.
Really sends it. That was never going to work. That was...
No.
Oh, he's actually still sort of alongside, and he's sending it again. He's had enough of this race. He's just not going to be polite, and he's going to make sure he gets his elbows out and gets that position, and chase down... try to chase down Deco, who's having a much better feature race. He's improved from 14th to 6th.
Yeah, that is good, but with their pace, let's see if...
losing another place here to Yuri.
Oh, not yet.
Oh, a little bit of a nudge. Bit naughty.
That might have just been a consequence of the changing directions of the corners.
I think I saw Yuri flipping him off in his window.
I mean, I've heard, as far as Claus's move on Gunmad, I've heard you yourself say on Pyro, as well as some other commentators, that there are some moves that if you pull it off, you look amazing, but if you don't, it's pretty costly in the street.
Yes. And the Gunmad really wide there, just opening the door for Yuri. He's going to try... No, he backs out of it before the braking zone, and he gets a second penalty for his troubles, to add insult to injury. But no, you're right, those kind of moves go wrong far more often than not, especially, you know, in non-professional racing, because these guys sometimes don't know what they're doing. including me sometimes, Yeah. I'll put myself in that. Oh no, we're trying to enter the pit lane backwards there for Gunmad.
A little early to give up on the race. Late.
No. And Jin is still stuck behind Zimmer, so Zimmer doing a great job at the moment holding Jin back, but look at Zimmer's tyres, they're about to go completely dead and he's still got 3 laps left.
He's about to have a rough couple laps.
Yes, he miscalculated, absolutely.
If you had to race Spa, let's say 2 laps with dead tyres and then half dead tyres, which would you rather in the front or the back?
Front, 100%. Racing on dead rear tyres is a death sentence, which is what Zimmer's just given himself by going completely straight on there, and Jin has that position finally. So his tyres are probably causing him a bit of pain now. He needs to be braking a lot earlier for these corners to make sure that he can still actually take them, and I'm not sure if he did that on the run down the back straight there.
I mean, Mitsubishi makes lawnmowers too, so maybe it's all good.
Nice. I think they put a lawnmower engine in this, actually. So, Higgsy, 17.7, that's really fast for Higgsy right now, on the mediums as well. So lapping in the 17s on the mediums is insane pace, in my opinion.
That is, yeah, that's good.
That's, yeah, he's tier 2 pace, comfortably. He's showing it in the Porsche anyway. An 18.3, so 1.1 seconds slower for Cameron that lap. He's going to have difficulty catching Higgsy now that his tyres are more than 50% worn on the front left.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, that he was gaining on him those first couple laps, but I just don't know if his softs were going to really give him that extra pace advantage for long enough.
No, I think the pendulum has started to swing in Higgsy's favour. He did an 18.2 there. Higgsy did a 17.8, so another 4 tenths quicker for Higgsy.
Yep, and like you said earlier, the Porsche is one of those cars that really excels on the mediums, and that means with a little worn tires, at least if it's the front, it's still very manageable compared to the Gen X.
Yeah. Also, just in a world of his own, Hurricane started to pull away a little bit from G-Dan. Deco all on his own. He has been all race, actually. He had a little mistake at the start, or an incident that we didn't see, and was near the back. And it's slowly... Well, he's just solidly probably taken a lot of advantages from the fuel tank that the Lexus has to probably get the jump on a bunch of people in the pits and find himself in a fairly good position.
It is quite the advantage in the Lexus's toolbook.
The Lexus has, the last 2 times it's been available in Tier 2, it's won both the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championships. So, make of that what you will. It seems to be when it's in the hands of capable drivers, it can dominate races quite comfortably, especially feature races.
I mean, it's got good acceleration, tires are average, but that's doable. Great fuel tank, decent top speed.
Yeah.
It's not really a whole lot more you can ask for.
When you're selecting a car, you basically have to think of 1 lap pace, but that's only part of it. Like, Porsche has good 1 lap pace. How it starts off the line. How good are its tires and how good is its fuel? So 4 things that you really need to think about there. And none of these cars have all 4, to be fair. I would say the Lexus has 1 lap pace and fuel. It's just okay off the line, and its tires are just okay. So 2 really good and 2 just okay. Nothing bad about it is why it's one of the top cars of the league.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a car that nails all 4 without debate. Because even the McLaren's, I wouldn't really call it good off the line. Its top
It's
speed
been nerfed a little bit, the McLaren, as well, since we both raced it a few seasons ago. So it's not as good. It's still got amazing tires and really good fuel. Its 1 lap pace leaves a little bit to be desired, and it's no longer as good off the line as it used to be because it's had weight added to it. We're on the final lap now, anyway, so let's have... Oh, what are you saying from the chat?
The M6 is one that should nail all 4, but I disagree.
Tires aren't as good on the M6. They're okay.
Fuel use.
Oh no, the fuel is actually... I would say the fuel is bad on the M6.
Yeah.
The tires are okay.
The M6 is a car, to me, that's just a jack of all trades, that it will never be horrible at any track. And in the hands of a capable driver, it's going to be fine.
Absolutely. The M6 is like a sprint race car, but also it struggles with top speed. And some drivers just can't get their heads around it because of the turbo engine. They just spin a lot. Even drivers that win championships, they choose the BMW the next season and they struggle.
Got someone else saying the Mazda. Mazda's got 3 out of the 4. Bad starts.
Very bad starts. Also, another car like the BMW has been nerfed in recent seasons, so it's not as good as, for example, when you won the championship with the Mazda in Tier 4 a few seasons ago.
My baby forever, I love it.
Mazda is not bad on fuel. Mazda's great on fuel. You can short shift in the Mazda and hardly lose any time.
I would put the Mazda up there with some of the cars that are in that illustrious 3 out of 4 category.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's still one of the cars you should be putting it on in your top 5 if it's available.
Yeah.
It's just not as good as it used to be, which I think is fair because there was a little period of time where it was just ridiculous. It was first and second in Tier 3 for the vast majority of the season, one season, winning most of the races. Nothing could get close.
All right, we've got Higgsy coming around the last couple of corners. Fairly unchallenged most of this latter half of the race.
After his unfortunate incident in the sprint race, he's had an absolutely faultless feature race, and he's going to round the corner to take something that a lot of people expected him to do when we saw him practicing this before the race. P1 for Higgsy, great for his championship hopes, and just an all-round great result. He was one of the quickest round here out of all the tiers. Cameron in P2, very solid in the Gen X. Also, double podium for him, the very first double podium he's had in Tier 3 to follow the very first victory he's had in Tier 3. Hurricane, a strong P4, managing to hold G-Dan off at the end, but G-Dan gets that position on penalties. Deco in P6, Claus in P7, our championship leader, losing ground to a lot of his rivals here, but it could have been worse on his 2-stop strategy. Yuri in P8 after a few mistakes. Gunmad actually finishing in the top 10. I thought he was going to drop way back.
Practically out of fuel.
Yeah, Jin, well, let's not talk about running out of fuel in Spa. Jin 10th place. Pasti is, well, actually got ahead of Zimmer, who's been running multiple laps on double dead tyres at the front, gets 12th. Senior Fak has been hit by the curse of an Audi in the feature race and is finishing near the back. Shergi on his hard strategy, this is how it's worked out for him. He went from fighting in the middle of the pack to down in 14th place, lapping in the 22s and 23s for the whole stint. And Monty has got a double last position. I don't know what that was, but he's miles away from finishing the race. I don't know is he going to finish?
I had to take some time to collect his thoughts.
He's just thinking about his life right now, I guess. Contemplating, why am I racing in ALR? Why did they put me in tier 3?
Can somebody edit this with like rain over the front of it? It's in black and white.
Okay,
shot.
okay. He's like, right, let's go now. Let's go. He had his paddy. He's over it now.
It's not a desire to finish the race. It's a desire to bring the car back to the pits and go home.
Yeah. Monty hates that Lexus.
Really? I'm always fascinated to find a car that I think is, at least while driving it, feels
unquestionably a great car.
Yes.
But some people just don't like certain cars, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Pyro doesn't like the AMG, and I think that's one of the better cars in the game. People have preferences.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we love the Beetle. Sure, a lot of people would call that crazy.
Test the Beetle, guys, for next season. It is
Please.
Underrated. People are completely
won't regret it.
He's actually just in start mode here, so he's not actually driving, but we are watching him. P15 for Monty. He gets 1 point for his week's worth of troubles there. So, where does that leave everyone? Let's have a look.
Oh, I almost just spit out my drink. I thought that was all the cars looped back.
No.
Waiting.
Let's pause that. So, Claus in the lead. 38 points ahead of Cameron, 39 points ahead of Deco, 2 P7s, but those two didn't actually do that well. Cameron got a 5th and a 2nd, which is pretty good. Deco got a 14th and a 6th. Higgsy got a P6 and a P1. He could have potentially won both those races, but he is very, very far behind because he missed the first round. He also DNF'd the race in Dragon Trail that started wet because he was on softs and just couldn't stop spinning on the first lap. Good watch, by the way. Go watch Dragon Trail Tier 3 if you haven't, because and just fast forward to the feature race especially. Start of that is just a beautiful display of racecraft and tire choice and connection with the barrier. It's great. In the constructors, Mercedes have 236. The next highest is the Porsche team with 161.
Good lord.
Yeah. So
90 points ahead.
Mercedes could wrap it up fairly. Could they wrap it up at the end of Bathurst if they have a good one?
Would that be assuming the Porsche drivers get a 1-2?
No, they can't. They can't wrap it up. They can't wrap it up at Mount Panorama. I don't think. Not reasonably.
Might have to be Brands Hatch.
Yeah. Asador agrees the Beetle's a good car. Better than the Porsche, I would say, having raced both of them. I'm having a much better season of the Beetle than I had in the Porsche.
Yeah, I think depending on the tire wear and the track, the Beetle, I don't really see it being far off the Porsche. Asador
agrees.
Very passionate. Very certain.
Cool.
That's
well, that's it. I need to do Panorama as well. I might do that tomorrow. And then I'm up to date on Tier 3. So yeah, if you've got nothing to do tomorrow, join me then and we'll go through it. But until then, thanks for watching, guys. Say bye, Perry.
Bye.